After you download the engine and Datasmith, click on Launch and this will open the new Unreal project browser for you. As you can see, this is much more simplified than before and it also looks neat. There are 4 main categories you can choose from: games, film, AEC, and automotive. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to select games blank template, set a location, give my project a name, and keep these settings on the default here. When you click create, the engine might take few minutes, so get your coffee, be patient. I already have the engine open for me because I'm not that patient. In the middle here, it's our 3D viewport. If you hold your right mouse button, you can look around, ASD, W, Q and E to move around. On the right here, we have our word outliner, and it contains everything here in our 3D viewport, and the details panel here is context sensitive, and from here we can access the transform properties and some other details that are related to any actor we have selected in our 3D viewport. Now, if you press Ctrl Space, it will open the content browser, and what I love about the content browser, it just goes away again. One of my favorite things about Unreal Engine 5 is that we have bigger space to work with by default. It's time to start from scratch, so I'm going to press Ctrl Space and I'm going to select my content folder, then right click and make a new folder and call it SketchUp. Here, I'm going to make another new folder and I'm going to call this Maps. Then I'm going to make another new folder and call it DT, stands for Datasmith. Inside Maps folder, I'm going to right click and create a level, then call it Map, and let's double click this level. It's completely dark, welcome to the dark side, they have cookies. It's time to export our project from SketchUp. So I found this on 3D Warehouse, a very nice cafe. I thought it would make a nice example we can view together today. Assuming you already downloaded and installed Datasmith, to export this to Unreal Engine, we need to go to File, Export, 3D Model. In my working drive, I usually have a folder called dt_temp, Datasmith temp files. And I'm going to set a location for my export and save as type. We need to set this to Unreal Datasmith. Once you do that, click Export. I already exported this. Let's go back to Unreal Engine and now it's time to import this. By default, if you choose an AEC template and if you go to Content, Datasmith should be somewhere here. However, if Datasmith is not here, we need to enable it from the plugins. So let's go to Edit, Plugins, then search for Datasmith. You can enable Cinema 4D importer or any other Datasmith importers. In our case, we just need the Datasmith importer. Click on Enable. You may get a warning message that this is still in beta. That's completely fine. And it will ask us to restart the engine. So let's go ahead and do that. This should take only a few seconds. Now, when we click on Content here, there is a new category called Import Assets, and below it there is Datasmith. So let's click Ctrl Space again and open the empty map we made. Here, let's go to Content, Datasmith, then select our export, the file we exported from SketchUp, click Open. We need to set a location for this. So we already made a folder called DT, we can save it here. Once you select your file, click OK, you will be welcomed with this dialog here where you have more options to control your import. You can only import the geometry, for example, or you can import everything: geometry, materials, lights, cameras, and animations. If you plan on using the CPU or the GPU light mask to bake the lights in your scene, you can click on Show Advanced and set the min and the max light map resolution for your static meshes. And of course, you need to keep this guy enabled, Generate Light Map UVs. Click Import. Depending on the size and scale of your project, this might take from few seconds to few minutes. So be patient. In this case, it just took few seconds. And now, if you look at the word outliner, we have 200 actors. We cannot see anything because we need to bring in some lights. However, we can see here that there are some points in the air. These are the group actors of our project. In SketchUp, when you group specific actors together, they will be saved just like this. What I would really recommend for all projects that you would have your groups or meshes slightly named better. This is kind of painful. It's my personal preference. Now, in order to see stuff, let's bring in a sunlight. So I'm going to click on create here, and then on lights, then click on directional light. G to toggle the game mode, and here we have our sunlight. There are some flipped faces, there are some overlapping faces as well. These are things I would recommend fixing in SketchUp or your 3D tool of choice before exporting to Unreal. To fix things quick and dirty, let's select the static mesh of the outer shell. Scroll down to where we have our materials. Click on one of these materials. This is a material instance. Let's duck this one here for now. And let's go to General, to the parent, SketchUp Master. We need to open the master material. We need to enable in the details panel of the materials at the material tab two-sided. So enable this, make it true. Click save, be patient, nice. However, I would still recommend fixing all flipped faces inside your 3D tool of choice before you export to Unreal Engine. But enabling two-sided material is a quick fix, so that's okay. I'm going to collapse my word outliner here, and I'm going to make a new folder, call one meshes, move the cafe Datasmith actor to meshes, and make another new folder, call it lights, and move the directional light to lights. Next, I would like to add some atmosphere to my project, and to do that, let's go to create and to visual effects and choose sky atmosphere. When you add sky atmosphere to your project, nothing happens because you need to go to your directional light and scroll all the way down to where it says atmosphere and cloud, then enable the option where it says atmosphere sunlight. If you don't want to scroll all the way down like this, you can search for atmosphere sunlight, or you can just search sunlight. Enable this, automatically we have sky in our project. And what I love about this sky is that it's physically accurate. So this means if we change the direction of our sun, the color of the sky is going to change as well. You can see it's kind of snappy now, the rotation. It's because you need to disable the rotation snapping from here. Click here to disable the rotation snapping, and you will have more control over your light. So just look at this, beautiful. And as you can see as well, the color of the sunlight also changed. Another shortcut, Ctrl L, it will help you control the light. One of the biggest mistakes I see people doing when you hold Ctrl L is moving your mouse in all directions, and this will make it kind of hard to control the light. So hold Ctrl L, move your mouse left and right only, or up and down. So let's say up and down like this, then left or right. The next thing I would like to do is adding a post-process volume so we can increase the quality of our indirect light and also disable the auto exposure. Let's go to create visual effects, then click on post-process volume. Let's clear our search here, move this to the tab, then go to the post-process volume settings and make our post-process volume infinite, so it can affect everything outside this box we see here. The next thing I would like to do is going to lens, then go to exposure, and to disable auto exposure we need to enable mean and max brightness, set them both to the same value, usually something like 1 or 0 or 2, it really does not matter, but 1 is the value I choose. Then we can play with the exposure compensation to make it darker or brighter. And now you notice that the exposure does not change, and value of 7 is kinda crazy, so let's make it 2 or 2.5 or 2. 2 is fine. The next thing I would like to add is a skylight, so let's go to create, lights, skylight. And you can see, wow, we're getting some skylight into our project here. So this is with a skylight and this is without. Alright, once you create your skylight and increase the intensity to something you like, let's select these three actors, the post-process volume, the sky atmosphere and the skylight, and move them to this folder to keep things organized. You can see here on the ceiling that we have some artifacts. It's because we need to increase some settings. So let's go to the post-process volume. It's the main reasons we made it. And let's go to global illumination and go to Lumen global illumination. Then put the final gather quality from 1 to something like 2 or 3 or 5 even. If you set it to the lowest value, which is 0.25, you can see these artifacts much clearer. So I'm gonna keep it at 1 for now. It's completely fine for me. Now you have some nice lighting in your project. Perhaps some of these textures could use an improvement. And if you don't know, if you click on content, there is Quixel Bridge. Here you have access to more than 15,000 assets for free for use in your Unreal Engine projects. I'm offline. Until the internet is back, let's do something else. Let's create a couple of cameras. So you can go to create, cinematics, let's make a cinematic camera actor. And let's find some nice shots. To switch to this camera, you can see when we click on it, we can see a preview of it here. You can pin this preview to your viewport. So when you click escape, you still have the preview pinned, which is nice. So I'm going to select this camera and move it here. That's one way to move your camera around. If you want to pilot this camera, one of the ways you can do that is going to perspective and then switching from the placed cameras to cinematic camera actor. F11 for the immersive mode, and let's find a nice shot. Hey, quick pause. Sorry I interrupted the music to tell you about our Unreal Engine Masterclass, but this is the only way we can make more YouTube videos. If learning Unreal Engine architecture is something interests you, check out the link in the description. And I'm gonna put the music again, take a deep breath, and let's continue the lesson. So let's say this is a shot I like. I'm going to stop piloting my camera, then right click and go to transform, and then lock the actor movement so it won't move. And I will switch back to the camera, press F9 to take a screenshot. The screenshot, you will get a message in the corner of your screen, is going to save within your project and is gonna have an automatic name like this, screenshot 0000. If you want a high resolution screenshot, you can click on the burger menu here, I love burgers, then go to high resolution screenshot. Here you can, based on your screen size, so you can set this to 2 or 3 or 5. It will just take longer to take the screenshot, so be careful with this. And if you go too crazy, it might crash your project. What I like about this is the use date and timestamp as image name. So let's keep this, for example, at 2, so double the quality, and then enable this option. Now let's click on take screenshot. This might take a few seconds, it's okay. And here is our screenshot. What would be nice if pressing G first, then take the screenshot. There we go. If you don't like the depth of field, it's because you need to set it right on your camera. So select the camera, and from the focus settings here, you can see the manual focus distance, show debug plane, then bring this closer to you, and then you can set your camera to focus on specific part of the scene you have. So I'm gonna set it there, for example, or I'm just gonna tell it disable. Hey, I don't want any focus. However, I'm gonna keep this on manual and set it there. If you can select the mesh behind the translucent object, you need to press on T first, and then you will be able to select anything behind translucent objects. So let's open the light material instance. Our light material instance is using the SketchUp master material, which is the normal opaque material. Emissive is not enabled for this. We can modify this, or we can click on browse here. It will take us to Datasmith content. Then we can choose the area light as a parent material for our material instance. So simply select the area light here, then go to your light material, then just on the parent click on use. And if you click save, if you go back here, you can see, hey, we have light now. What can we do now next is opening our material instance, go to emissive, and we can increase this value. So here, by pressing on the value, let's set it to something like 10, click OK, and save this. Normally with Lumen, emissive surfaces are going to emit light and indirect light, but these are way too small to emit any light. However, if you try assigning this material on this table, you can see how amazing this is. Wow. However, I'm gonna disable that. Let's say you don't like this lower hemisphere and you want to get rid of it, you can go to Create, Visual Effects and Exponintal Hight Fog. It will also have some effect on our project as well. Once you add the Exponintal Hight Fog, I'm going to set this to 0.002. Wow, that's a happy accident here. Let's say something like this. Let's select our post-process volume, scroll to global illumination and increase the lumen global illumination to something like 4. Alright, so let's say these materials are nice, but it's something perhaps you would like to change or not satisfied with. You can go to Content, and now Quixel Bridge is built in within Unreal Engine 5, which is absolutely incredible. Click on it. You need to sign in, so go ahead and sign in. Then let's say in this case we need concrete to replace these concrete materials with. So we can go here and search for concrete. We can define our search more because let's say you don't want 3D meshes, so you can type concrete then surface. So let's say this is a surface we like. You can click on download here. You can also set the quality as well. Click and drag the asset. Hey, look at this. And you can assign it to your surface, just like that. I like this preview here. So that's one way to do stuff. Let's say this texture is not very nice, so let's go ahead and find a replacement. You can also go to collections. If you don't want to search for materials or surfaces, or you don't know what exactly you're looking for, you can go here to collections, and from the collections here, depending on what you are working with, let's say in this example, Artstation, click surface, then you can see all of these options for you. So let's say for example this stone floor. Once download is finished, you can simply click and drag. It will create a preview for us. You can select this, search for this material, then click and assign to this surface. This is not the best seamless material, but that's okay. Let's open the material and go to tiling, then reduce the tiling to 0.5 by 0.5 so we can make this texture bigger and you can see how awesome this is. So if you're feeling fancy, you can go to 3D as well, and here in 3D you can find all sorts of 3D assets for use in your Artstation projects when it comes to planters, breads, fruits, all that good stuff. In the upcoming tutorial, when it comes to SketchUp and Unreal Engine, we're going to work with the 3D stuff and an exterior scene. If you found this video useful, subscribe, hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers!